Mind philosophy discusses the insights from some of the greatest thinkers over time. It will also demonstrate how their wisdom can be applied against the complexities and challenges we face in modern society. It's how philosophy can be used as a vehicle to produce a better version of who we are and how we interact within ourselves and each other. Did you ever want to have something that is so advanced? Something that is beyond the realm of any other living being in the world? Well, we do. And that is the brilliance of the human brain. Do we ever wonder, though, how something that is so intelligent can also turn its efforts against us? When we are under the spell of anxiety and duress, when our thoughts turn from being bold to being scold, when we doubt ourselves to the brink of our bewilderment? Do we believe when our brains are busted, it is a result of our genetics, or perhaps we're simply not thinking straight? Through history, we have heavily pondered ourselves through poverty and prosperity to understand our thoughts and feelings. Where even through today's technology of neural imagery, we are better versed than ever to understand our brains. Yet, there are still wonders of our mental worlds unknown. Nobel Peace Prize winner, Dr. and neurologist Eric Kandel dedicated his life to the role of neuroscience, learning and memory, and offers great insights as to how our thoughts reflect our brain structures, or perhaps vice versa. Science has shown us in cases of schizophrenia that areas of the brain that propose logic and memory were physically smaller, where in cases of anxiety and depression, areas that promote emotion were larger. Kandel talks of our 86 billion nerve cells, or neurons, and how they communicate with one another through precise connections via junction, known as our synapses. It is through these neural connections is how we attain information from our senses that feeds through all parts of our brain to then enable us to construct our own realities, which is how we learn, adapt to our surroundings, engage in our emotions, and conduct in social interactions. When different parts of our brain are active, it means our neurons are firing electricity from one neuron to the other through the path of our synapses. Yet, when these synapses are disturbed, it can also tell us about ourselves when our behaviours are far from optimal. Through brain scanning technology, we can see for depression and anxiety sufferers, some of these synaptic connections were actually inactive and able to communicate effectively. Our synaptic connections suffer and we release too much of a stress chemical called cortisol, which not only affects our memory, but also motors our mood swings, elevates our defensive behaviour. This is where there is the aid of medication and psychotherapy, which together can produce needed serotonin, promoting the regrowth of our synapses. Put simply, to literally reform the biology of our brains. Kandel, and in essence science, tells us many things. It is from the bonds of our brains that we form our thoughts, yet it is from the form of our thoughts that we can bond our brains. Our minds are malleable. Our brains have the ability to be reshaped through plasticity. This may seem as being insurmountable for those who suffer from depression and anxiety. There is, though, always hope. Our brains are so complex, where the pinnacle of our complexity is brought from our self-awareness. It is from our self-awareness that accounts for how we exist in the world, realise our experiences, the stories we tell, instilling a purpose in our lives. While our minds may be from the matter of our brains, even Kandel acknowledges that our self-awareness is still the great mystery of brain science. It is from our emotions that we can undo ourselves in life. It is also from our emotions that we experience its presence, be truly engaged in a moment of time. It will be easy for us to state that we are born from the labour of our genetics, that our path of life is drawn for us. Yet, we also know that our brains can be reformed. We realise that even through suffering, we can endure through life's turbulence. We can learn through time's acceptance. We know through psychotherapy that our brains can physically reform itself, using our emotions to relay. And when needed, we know through medication our brains can rebond itself, using science as our aid. There is no such mind that is as mighty as the severing seas. Our vulnerability is an exemplar of what makes us human. It is from our brain that we are granted consciousness. It is from our sense of self-awareness that we truly understand it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button and subscribe to the Mind Philosophy channel. Feel free to leave your comments so we can generate some conversation. A new video is uploaded each Wednesday, so I'll see you again on our next journey.